What's up, beautiful people? It's me, Rickey Jones Jr. for the Rickey Jones Jr. podcast. This is the first episode of our new situation, new spin, and new look and things like that. And I'm your host, so I'm excited about what this podcast will be going forward. But then just to start things off, let's just have some fun. So the way I want to start the various podcasts is shouting people out that have commented on videos or commented on different podcasts and things like that already, but just to show my love and support for them as they've shown for me. And so the first one I want to do, I'm gonna do one per episode. And so this one goes out to my lovely mother. As you may see on YouTube, if you're watching on YouTube, you'll see her in the comment section. Her name happens to be Christine Jones, right? And so you probably see her on every video saying something. And so I want to shout her out saying, thank you, mother, for being on this journey and ride with me. And more excited to see what this here podcast will be going forward. So shouts out to you, Mom. I love you. I appreciate you. And I thank you for your support and for you doing what you did for me to be here, right? Because I mean, we wouldn't have this conversation if you didn't do what you did 33 years ago, right? But nonetheless, yeah, we go ahead and get this bad boy started, okay? And so the way this here podcast will go going forward is we'll have different segments, different topics that we'll talk about. Obviously, I am who I am, so I like to talk about specific things, but overall, what I like to say is that we're going to have entertaining conversations about topics that matter, okay? Now, these obviously are topics that matter to me, and so we're just going to have some fun working through different things, talking through different things, and then I have like different segments that I want to do and things like that, which I actually have them on like some papers, right? So if you watch on YouTube, you see me touching the papers and you might can hear it on the podcast through the mic. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put all these bad boys into the bowl, right? Put them into the bowl and I'm going to just shake them up. I mean, I don't even know why I'm shaking them up because I don't know which ones are which, but I'm going to just pull out like maybe 3 and just give you a little snippet of what that segment will be about, you know, or even just work it and talk it through. So we'll see. Okay. So the first one I pulled out is, Rickey's Boom or Bust. Oh man, so this one's gonna be cool. So at the end of each podcast, I'm gonna have a product or something. Well, probably it'll be a product because something I can or experience. I don't know, but anyway, it'll be a product. We'll just say that I would have tried. That I would say either it's a boom, meaning like yeah, y'all should go get it, y'all should experience it, you should try it out for yourself, or it's a bust. Okay, and so the boom comes because I do like Instagram posts and things like that on my Instagram, and I started off with a boom, and so that's where the boom or bust comes from. So that'll be a segment that we do at the end of the podcast, okay? And then here's one, boom, hubby life, right? So y'all know my wife. If you don't, I have a wife. Her name is Crystal. And she's big on helping single people get married, with our story being that we met, we got engaged and got married all in 9 months. So the hubby life aspect of things come from the idea that, I mean, there are some things that we as husbands, we as men should know about. And I'm going to just share some various scenarios and stories that we happen to experience, but more than anything with the idea that these are some things that you can incorporate in your life, and things like that. So if I was just to pop off with a situation, right, it would be right now, right, in our master bedroom, we have one sink. And in this one sink, obviously, everything goes down in this one sink. It's only one sink in the master bathroom, right? And so, I mean, it means we share when it comes to brushing teeth, when she does her hair, and the list goes on. And so there's this like inner situation that happens in our life currently, right? Because this is just the current situation. It's not our final destination. But in this current situation, it gets real. And my wife, she loves doing her hair. And there's some times where some hair is left in the sink. And she says sometimes I leave hair in the sink. But nonetheless, we just came to the agreement that if you do your hair, try your best. And that's all we can ask for, is to try your best to clean things up, because the next person doesn't want to experience what just took place. Right? Because it's not the same experience. Her doing her hair and me walking to a sink full of hair isn't the experience that she had, right? She's pleased and satisfied with the outcome that took place. But I'm not, because it's a bunch of hair. But on the end of like me shaving or cutting and grooming myself, my facial hair and things like that, she may walk in and has the same idea. So at the end of the day, what do we say? We're going to do our best to keep things nice, clean, and tidy, okay? And so the list goes on, and there'll be some more situations because we have funny stories. But nonetheless, boom. The third one is books that I'm reading. So this one's cool because I do like to read, and I will say something that's kind of fairly new to my life. Probably the last 5 years I've taken reading serious, and I've read a numerous amount of books. Mostly are self-help type books. I have read like the Hunger Games series and things like that, where it's like just fun. But so I do look to share those different books that I am reading with you all, because I feel like reading is fundamental, and I realize how beneficial reading is, largely because, especially the self-help books, those books contain a wealth of information from somebody that is successful. In most cases, somebody that's successful, right? And so even like behind me, I have one of those books, Think and Grow Rich, which was written by Napoleon Hill, which he interviewed other people that were successful, right? So it may not be the actual person that's successful, but he interviewed people, and the principles that he wrote down are what we read today, which are phenomenal in so many different ways. And so when I'm reading a book, hey, we'll talk about that, why it's beneficial, why I recommend it. I most recently read a book called Profit First, which is great for entrepreneurs. And so, hey, we'll have those conversations and talk through those things. And I'll definitely put links in the description and things like that, so that if you are interested in that particular book, you can partake in that book, right? So we all gonna learn and grow together, okay? And so I'm gonna do one more, because I just feel like we're here. And so last but not least, it's advice, be it business or relationships. And so this is cool because Crystal and I have a numerous amount of businesses and things that we've done that did not work out, things that we're currently doing that are doing well. And, hey, we're here to talk about it, be it about, setting up business accounts or credit cards for your business, or accountants and things like that when it comes around tax time, or how you can get new clients and things like that. We are here for you all. But then also relationship advice. This is pretty cool because one of the things that I do is I go to the gym, and in the gym there's a sauna, which I love to go to the sauna, which we'll get there. But nonetheless, in the sauna, people have asked me about different advice, and I just found it weird. Like, it was like 1 week where two guys, they were asking me. I'm thinking like, man, but they didn't really, how people ask you questions, but they really don't want answers. They just ask you questions to lead to more statements. And so really they were just venting. And I realized that when they just kept going after asking me something, and I started to give an answer, and there was, no listening going on. But nonetheless, with it all, hey, I'm here. So here's a platform, the podcast, in which I could take those scenarios, or scenarios in which people ask me in passing, and I can just, use it. Obviously, I'm not going to use anybody's name. So I say that to say, if you have any questions or anything like that, definitely let us know. I'll put the email down below or in the description area, so that you can email if you have any questions or things like that. We're here for it, right? But not only can we do this here on the podcast, but my wife also has a YouTube channel called A Purposeful Pursuit, where she talks thoroughly about relationships and things like that. So definitely want to point you there. But if something like cool or interesting comes up, it'll be a segment that we do talk about. And so even so, who I am and what I like to do. I love, main things that you'll hear me talk about on this here podcast. Like I said, it's going to be entertaining conversations, but it'll be around topics that matter, such as health, such as faith, such as legacy and community. Like, those are like pillars in which I stand on. And even within legacy, so much is in that, be it businesses, be it investments, be it things that you're doing for your family, even pillars that you're standing on as a family. Because I'm a father, and so I have I'm a husband as well, right? But as a father, I feel like it's such a tremendous responsibility that comes with being a father. And so, we're going to talk about those things, because the things that you do as a parent, the things that you do even as a spouse, as a parent, will leave marks on your children's life that will then leave marks on their lives, which essentially is legacy. And so we'll talk about those things. We'll have fun with it, because Also, let me just side note that and let you know that I don't know it all, right? And so don't feel like, Rickey's just telling it all and this is the end all be all. Like, no, this is my opinion. This is my conversation. This is what I'm talking about from where I am. So I may even ask you all, what do you think about a particular thing, and ask for feedback, and we'll all be able to learn and grow together, because I do love community, right? I said that. I'm just bringing it all back. But even in that idea of community, I just love when we get to come together, and the we could be a little bit anybody, but I love when we get to come together and learn from each other, grow from each other, laugh with each other, and experience life through one another, which leads me to the fact that we'll also do interviews. I love inspirational stories, and I love just learning and growing from other people, which I do that a lot, even from asking people questions, but then also just watching people. I learn a lot by what you can learn a lot by watching people. And so we'll interview people on here as well, especially in the business realm, those that are in business, those that are started business, and we'll talk to them. Why? What made you do it? What things have you overcame? What things are you looking forward to doing? What problems do you have? How can we help overcome them? And the list goes on. So that'll be a part of that community discussion and things like that. But even health. I feel like health is a currency of wealth. I don't, they say health is wealth. Like, no, there's so many other things that allows for you to be wealthy, but I believe it is a form of currency that leads to wealth. And so we'll talk about it. I love gardening. I do gardening. I have a gardening YouTube channel as well. And so we'll talk about different things like that if you're interested in gardening or growing, but even through just talking through the benefits of health and why health is important. Even the sauna, right? I talked about me being in a sauna, but I'm in the sauna because of the health benefits of a sauna. And I feel like sometimes people don't do what is necessary because they don't know, right? And I believe that with knowledge, you can take action. With action, you can have then an understanding. With understanding, you can have wisdom. So those are like the stepping blocks that I have. But anyway, it's neither here nor there. We'll talk about those things as this podcast progresses. But I definitely just wanted you to get an idea of what's to come with the shift that has taken place, because some people this may be your first time interacting with who I am and what we do here on this here podcast. But there may be some that have traveled along the journey of Pursuit of Destiny production side of things. But now we are in the Rickey Jones Jr. segment, the Rickey Jones Jr. podcast era of this here podcast. And so, man, we're gonna have fun, ladies and gentlemen. And I talked to my wife, actually, just hubby life scenario. Talked to my wife and I was like, hey babe, like obviously I want you to be a part of everything that I do, so hey, let me know how we can do this thing together. And so she's plotting and planning and things like that on how we can do what we do. And she has like a line. The line is, I'm trying to figure out how to help people like you for who you are. And I was like, okay, you sit on that, you work on that, and I'm gonna be here for all of that. So definitely be on the lookout for where we do get together and come together, because it's gonna be exciting, it's gonna be fun, it's gonna be entertaining. It's always entertaining where her and I are together, because we have such interesting personalities, but then when we come together, it is an interesting opportunity. But nonetheless, with it all, man, I think this is a good start. I feel like we're here. Right? The introduction's here. The ground has been set. The foundation has been laid. I feel like you have an idea of what you can expect. So you know a reason why you should come back, right? You have a reason why you should subscribe. Click that bell notification so that you're aware if you're watching on YouTube, or click that follow button if you're listening on whatever platform in which you are listening on. That's the podcast platforms. But nonetheless, with it all, we are here for you, right? I'm here for you, and I'm excited for our conversations and the journey. Because this is a journey, and this is one step towards accomplishing the journey, right? And so if you watched previous podcast episodes, you know what journey I'm specifically speaking of. But if you didn't, you'll come in contact with it in due time. But like I said, we have a final segment that we will do called Boom or Bust. So let's go ahead and get into it. All right, great people. So for the first Boom or Bust, it is brought to us by Duncan. Okay, if you're watching on YouTube, you see the cup. And so what I have here in this cup, and I won't say which day I went to Dunkin', or even which one, because I want to protect the innocent. But nonetheless, I drove over to Dunkin' because I wanted to try something different. Usually I do get hot coffees with caramel and almond milk, and just rock it like that, no sugar, because there's plenty of sugar with the caramel. But this time I was like, I want to get a latte. Okay, so first of all, this is a large latte, and it wasn't filled up to the top, I will say that. And I had the original caramel craze one with the almond milk, okay? And if I was to say whether or not it was a boom or if it was a bust, this one was a bust, okay? Truth be told, it was a bust, and just various reasons, because it wasn't filled to the top. Okay, I asked for a large. I feel like I got a medium in content. But then, it had the grains were still in there at the end of the situation. It got gritty. Midway through, it was gritty. I feel like, I don't know, something popped or something like that. Maybe that's how the drink goes. I don't know. Let me know. But the latte experience wasn't what I expected or wanted it to be. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to say you try it for yourself. However, what I would say is it was a bust. This one was a bust, but maybe they can redeem themselves. I don't know. We don't know. We'll talk about it later. But nonetheless, in it all with all, just like that, great people, we are done with our first podcast episode of the Rickey Jones Jr. podcast, and I'm also excited for the different times and experiences we will get to have together. So make sure you tune back in, because I will be here for you all, with you all, to have great conversations. So until then, have a great day, y'all. Peace.